What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews. Now buckle up, guys, this is going to be a pretty long video here. We're going to cover pretty much every single consumable tool related item that I use pretty much every year. And so I'm not sponsored by any of these brands. None of these items were given to me for free. I bought all of these items, and these are basically my choices for trying out a number of different items and see which one I think is the best so far. So I want to make one just complete video, kind of cover everything that I use in pretty much a 1 year time span, and I'll kind of tell you what I prefer and what I think is the best myself. So let's start with consumable gloves. Now, you have lots of choices in gloves. There are plenty of gloves to try out, but my favorite by far are these Milwaukee cut level gloves. You're going to find them in a couple different styles. They have that kind of all blacked out style, which is kind of new, and they have, of course, the classic Milwaukee red. And you have a couple options between cut level 1, they make 2, 3, and I think they also make 5 as well too. But they come in a couple sizes. I prefer the XLs, or seem to fit me the best. And these gloves are fantastic because they have a really nice grip on your hand. They don't move around a lot, and they keep your hand nice and safe from any cuts, any intrusions, any penetrations. They seem to work really, really well. Now, I will say I go through one pair of gloves about once a month for what I do for work. I do a lot of different types of hauling debris, demolition work, and these have held up absolutely phenomenal. As you can see in my hands, they aren't too torn up, but if you see the current gloves I have in my truck right now, they do get torn up decently fast. I will say I've tried out the other cut level pairs of gloves. As you increase the cut level, say to 2 and 3, the gloves become a lot stiffer. This basically black coating here becomes thicker and thicker, and you get a lot less, maneuverability with the gloves. You can't exactly have all that finger really precision as you have with the cut level 1s. Now, I will say the cut level 3s are really nice when you're doing more work with like glass and sharp metal, but cut level 1s are pretty much my general purpose go-to gloves for almost everything. I've pretty much stopped buying any types of gloves at this point, and this is what I go for yard work, around the house, and for work. Alright, moving on to the next item, I have reciprocating saw blades, and this one is always a fun one. Many people like to do reviews on these to see which one is kind of the best. For the most part, Diablo comes out on top every single time. However, they also come out on top on price. These things are definitely really, really expensive. Now, there are certain deals you can find around the year. Right now, they have a 30 pack for about 30 bucks at Home Depot. I always stock up on those pretty much every year, and I probably grab maybe 3 or 4 or 5 packs of those, and that'll last me an entire year. These are basically the longest lasting, fastest cut blades you can pretty much find anywhere. And the cool thing is that Diablo blades are actually Swiss made, which is pretty cool. Check on the back of the blade there, they're all made in Switzerland, which is pretty cool. These things hold up amazingly well. I will say I was a big Milwaukee blade guy. I had a lot of the Milwaukee blades. They seem to last me maybe like 1 or 2 blades per project. So I would, I'd burn through a couple blades on each project. However, though, switching to Diablo blades, I seem like I go through maybe 1 blade for every 2 projects. So I get almost 4 times the life out of a Diablo blade versus my Milwaukee blades. I've tried, of course, the DeWalt blades, tried out the Bosch blades, many other brands. Nothing compares to the Diablo blades. These things are phenomenal. They absolutely just last and last and last. The only ones that I'm not a huge fan of are the metal blades. Those blades are, they're pretty good, but you encounter any type of metal, it's going to be just a little bit harder, and it blasts the teeth right off of those things. A little trick that I've learned, though, is if you kind of look up how fast you're supposed to use the metal blades, always use the metal blades in the slowest speed in your Sawzall. So make sure you keep that as slow as possible, keep that blade cool, and let it do its job. Don't overheat, overwork that blade, keep it slow, and it'll go through metal a lot better, and you get a lot more life out of that blade. But by far, best blades that I always use right now, I've tried them all out. I use so many blades per month. It's always been Diablo, and I've tried out so many other brands. I just want to buy the best, give me the best amount of life. I don't want to be swapping out blades all the time. I want to have a blade that's just going to last for me, and it's definitely Diablo is my choice. All right, moving on to the next item. Let's talk about bits. Now, I've pretty much used every brand of bits. I pretty much own most brands of bits as well, too. All the DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita stuff, those are fantastic. Now, I will say DeWalt and Milwaukee are pretty close when it comes to bits, although you're going to find more deals on the DeWalt side of things when it comes to the bits. Now, I do like a lot of the Makita bits. However, though, I've discovered Bosch bits about a year ago, and these are now my absolute go-to bits. I have yet to even break a Bosch bit yet. I pretty much have like 4 packs of Bosch bits. I keep 2 with me at work, and I also keep 2 at home, and these things are phenomenal. Now, I have broken, plenty of Milwaukee bits, plenty of DeWalt bits, plenty of Makita bits, and they all seem to run about the same amount of life, in my opinion. Slight preference to Makita. I'm a big Makita guy, of course. I love the Makita XPS bits, but Bosch bits by far are the best bits I've ever used to date. Now, when I say best bits, I will say this. If you walk into any store right now, Lowe's, Home Depot, you can pick up the Bosch bits now. There are some other bits online that I've heard that have been really good, like say Norski bits, also the Diablo bits, but they are not available at any store near me. So I'm only saying my opinion on this based on what I can get in store. And for me, it's easily the Bosch stuff. I use the Bosch drill bits, the impact bits. They have held up absolutely phenomenal for me. Some of these bits, like this one right here, are pretty much the bit that I use almost every day at work. I do maybe, 20 to 100 screws a day, and this thing is just holding up phenomenal. Compared to some of my Milwaukee and Makita bits, they break after about a month or so. This thing is still going strong after, I think, almost 6 months on this bit now. And it has been holding up absolutely phenomenal. You can see, as I maybe lose a bit, or I pull a bit out, maybe give it to someone that needs one, I replace it with another bit I have. So I'm pulling out, Makita XPS bits and throwing them back in here. So I like to reuse the cases when I find a case that I like, and I kind of go from there. But I'm sure some other bits are probably better than Bosch. I mean, you can buy always more expensive bits. There's always a better brand, always a worse brand, of course. But in store, if I had to pick any brand, Home Depot, Lowe's, I'm buying Bosch. That's where my money's going. They are absolutely phenomenal bits. They last just forever, and I've had no issue with them at all. Not saying Makita, Milwaukee, and DeWalt bits are bad, but I want a bit that's going to last and last and last, and that is definitely Bosch by far. All right, something that you definitely should be wearing quite often is going to be safety glasses. Now, I do work outside once in a while. I'm doing my yard once in a while. Sometimes I work outside in a client's backyard. And I will say, I buy a lot of the DeWalt, a lot of the Milwaukee safety glasses, but I have to give it to Milwaukee. I definitely feel like they have a better advantage when it comes to comfort and overall options as well, too. So I've got the 2 pair that are pretty much my favorite safety glasses, and this pair of glasses here, it looks pretty average. Notice I've got some of the grass have stuck to the safety glasses here. That's because I wear these while I'm doing any weed whacking or string trimming, and here's why. They are that gasket style. So you can see right here, they seal around your eyes nicely, so if you're getting hit by debris, and it kind of goes under and hits your cheek and goes up into your eye, these definitely prevent that. And they are very low profile too. They're not, overly bulky. They don't really get in your way. They don't really, block sweat too much and they start fogging up. These are absolutely phenomenal. They also have a nice little bit of tint to them as well too. So working outside, it keeps a lot of that sun glare away. These are kind of the more of the budget Milwaukee glasses here. They have a bit of a mild tint to them. They're not as dark as these, but these go for, $6, $7 at Home Depot on sale all the time. And kind of my go-to, driving glasses. They work really well, a little bit of tint to them, and overall, they're fantastic value, and they hold up really nicely. They're very comfortable as well, too. So my pick for safety glasses is definitely going to be Milwaukee. I like the variety they have, I like the style they have, and they have just what I need at the price I'm willing to pay. So definitely Milwaukee gets my vote for safety glasses. All right, let's talk tape measures now. Now, I've got 2 types of tape measures here, and I will say one is my favorite and one is a pretty close second. So my favorite by far is going to be the Crescent Lufkin series. Now, yes, these are quite expensive. They're not cheap by any means, but they are made absolutely incredible. I love how well they work. They have just, super durable. They have awesome, tape stiffness. These things go out really, really far. I've got a few of these on some decent good deals here and there as you find them, at clearance at Lowe's. But these are definitely my favorite. These are what I use pretty much every day now for work. I cannot beat these at all. I've not found a single better tape measure to date. Pretty much everything about these I like. I like the grip about them. They have awesome, the lock is just really stiff, really nice. Just love it. So that's my definitely top pick for tape measures. Now my second pick, kind of more of a value pick here in a second place runner-up. I've got some of the DeWalt, I got some of the Milwaukees. I think Milwaukee beats the DeWalt just a little bit in my opinion, just because the tape seems to have a better quality than the Milwaukees, than the DeWalt, and I just prefer the Milwaukee just slightly more than the DeWalt. Now, previous years you could pick these up for like 2 for 15 bucks. They are kind of now like 2 for 20, 2 for 25 now. So they have gone up in price a little bit, but they are the new magnetic style ones from Milwaukee. And just remember though that these all have lifetime warranties as well too. So does the Crescent Lufkin. So you break it, just give them a call and they will send you out a new one. All right, when it comes to any grinding accessories, my definitely top pick for grinding is going to be DeWalt. I don't know what it is about the DeWalt stuff, but they seem to just last the longest. I've got a few DeWalts, a couple of Makitas, a couple of other brands here and there, and I feel like always like my DeWalt stuff just lasts the longest whenever it comes to any grinding discs, paddle disc, whatever I've got, or sorry, flap discs. Whatever I need, the DeWalt always has the best in my opinion, and they're relatively cheap too. I will right now give second place in the value to Benchmark Abrasives. Not sponsored by them or anything, but they have some awesome deals where you can pick up like a 10-pack for free. You just pay shipping, which is right around 10 bucks or so. And I've been using their flap disc for quite a while, and they have been overall a really solid, really cheap flap disc that's given me a lot of use out of them so far. But my top pick for definitely anything when it comes to grinding discs is definitely DeWalt grinding discs. I've tried out a number of different brands. I just feel like the DeWalt stuff is awesome. I've tried out some of the Diablo stuff too, but I feel like the Diablo stuff has worn out on me really, really quick compared to some of their other products. And I feel like the DeWalt stuff is just a bit better than the Diablos. And they're also significantly cheaper. So that's why I'm going to give DeWalt my top pick when it comes to any grinding discs out there right now. All right, let's talk Spade bits now. Now, when it comes to Spade bits, I have tried out so many brands. I will say it's pretty easy to find what I like for Spade bits really quick. I have not yet broken a Diablo Spade bit. Some of these have a ton of use on them, but they are still going strong, still nice and sharp. I will say second place for Spade bits, in my opinion, is definitely Bosch. You can get them actually decently cheap at Lowe's, but Diablo actually has some good deals during the holidays for a lot of their Spade bit kits, and these things are just phenomenal. I have not used a Spade bit that works better, goes faster, and stays sharper longer than any of the Diablo Spade bits. I've got 2 sets of Diablo Spade bits now, and they all have lasted me way longer than I thought they would. Even putting them through a screw here and there, and they are still going strong. So top pick for my Spade bits are definitely going to be Diablo. All right, when it comes to screws, here are my top picks. Of course, screws could be a huge video. There is a ton of options, a huge variety of screws, but here's pretty much my go-to in screws. And yes, screws are going to be expensive when you want to get the higher end ones. Definitely a big fan of the Spax brand. These have been, used for a lot of different things. I use for around the house. These are when you really want to hold something really, really well. These are these stainless steel deck screws. I use them for, of course, a lot of treated wood applications, but when I'm using, stuff around the house, doing some minor repairs, if you want to put a screw in and you want to make sure that screw is going to last and hold forever, this is the way to go with Spax. All right, I use a lot of GRK fasteners as well, too. They got that Uber grade, which is kind of cool on there, but these things are phenomenal screws. They have a great coating on them. They've never let me down, and they are awesome. Now, when it comes to masonry screws, I will say I've used Tapcons for forever, and I've always had issues with those things breaking. I switched over to the Simpson Strong Tie. These are just the Titan Turbos. These have performed, I would say, a good, percentage better than a lot of the Tapcon screws that I've used in the past. I won't say it's a huge difference, but they are slightly cheaper, and I feel like they are definitely slightly stronger and outperform the older Tapcons in my opinion. So I've kind of switched over to these pretty much for my entire work now. This is what I use as my go-to on a day-to-day basis. So that's my top picks for some screws there. Of course, I use a lot of the Grip-Right drywall screws. That's going to be your basic go-to brand for a ton of stuff. Those are just, average. They work great. No reals with those at all, and they're just cheap and easy to come by. All right, let's move into some adapters. Now, a lot of adapters you're going to break, they're going to give you issues, but everything I'm showing you right here has a lifetime warranty. Now, I use the Pittsburgh adapters, Pittsburgh Pro, of course, 1/2 inch to 3/8 inch here. I do use, of course, the impact rated ones. I got plenty of those. And, I kind of keep them in a pile. If I break them, I take them back to Harbor Freight. They give me a new one. No big deal. I would say I break maybe 1 or 2 a year, so it's not, they don't have a huge failure rate on them, but I definitely keep them hanging around, and they are fantastic. Harbor Freight's warranty is 10 out of 10 by far. Now, if you didn't know, if you ever use these adapters, from an impact to say 1/4 inch, they make 3/8 and 1/2 inch as well too. These are well known to break a ton. However, though, these are the Husky brand ones, and Husky has a lifetime warranty on these. They will replace them for you, although I will say I have not broken a single one of these yet. I've been using them for almost a year and a half. So these have been absolutely phenomenal, and if I do break one, I know Husky will take care of me. They have a lifetime warranty on these. There's plenty of different brands out there. These are super cheap from Husky and easily recommended because they're pretty much the only brand with a lifetime warranty. So Husky gets my vote for these type of adapters, and of course Harbor Freight with their Pittsburgh Pro adapters are absolutely 10 out of 10, excellent. All right, next up, let's talk saw blades. So when it comes to my 6 and 7 inch saw blades, it's Diablo by far. I have tried out tons and tons of brands. Milwaukee actually sent me a saw blade. I've had a few other brands also send me just saw blades. Hey, test these out. And nothing comes close to Diablo. DeWalt's even doing that new Elite series. That doesn't even come close to Diablo at all. They're claiming, twice the life of Diablo, but yeah, no, Diablo is still king. Diablo does sell these value packs for $12 during the holiday period, and that is when I stock up on these things. It's cool because when it comes to the Diablo blades, I maybe go through maybe 3 or 4 blades a year now. Maybe once a quarter I change out blades. When I was using other brands of blades, I would go through blades maybe every couple weeks to at least every month. So I'm changing out blades way less, and I don't use blades really for construction that much. I use them for demolition work. So I'm ready to hit nails, whatever I'm going to hit inside that wall, cutting up hot tubs and stuff. So for using blades like this that hold up pretty much over everything is definitely key for me. So Diablo has definitely been the top blade that I have ever used to date. I really haven't used anything that comes close when it comes to price to performance for these. I'm sure there's probably better blades out there that are way more expensive, but when it comes to just overall cost to the performance value, you can't beat Diablo by far. Now, I will say, here's an honorable mention when it comes to miter saw blades. Of course, Diablo is going to win that relatively easy as well, too. But, miter saw blades are not cheap. So I picked these up off Amazon. I just needed a cheap, miter saw blade. My Makita blade, I think it did like a couple hundred cuts, and it was already dull, giving me some issues there when I bought my Makita miter saw. And I was not impressed with the Makita blade at all. I picked these up. It came with a 32 tooth, and also I think it had a 64 that's currently on my saw right now, and they have held up absolutely amazing. I think it was also like $25 for a 2-pack of these blades. These are 10-inch blades. They fit my miter saw just perfectly, and they are awesome cut quality as well too. So they are dirt cheap. They are on Amazon. Not sponsored by them at all. I paid for them myself, tested them out myself, and they are absolutely amazing for the price. So definitely a great honorable mention here for larger blades. All right, speaking of blade, let's talk Jigsaw blades. Now you may be thinking, oh yeah, Diablo makes these, they're at Home Depot, yeah, they win. Well, not necessarily. I've actually started using the Craftsman blades actually quite a bit. They have a great selection of blades in here, some metal blades, some wood blades, some fast wood blades, some not so fast wood blades. There's a 13-piece, often goes on sale for about $10, and these have held up just as well as my Diablo blades for a lot less money. Now, I was ready to give, Diablo the win on this one, but check out the Craftsman blades. I've been super impressed with those blades to date, and they have held up absolutely amazing. Would I say they're better than the Diablo blades? I don't think so, but for the price alone, considering that this Diablo pack I paid about $12 for, I only get 5 blades in here, when I paid a little bit less for this, $10, and I get 13 blades in here, a better variety, also a better case too, and I like that. I really like that plastic hard case, when all Diablo gives me here is just a basically cardboard paper case here with some plastic. I just want to give the win to Craftsman. They're holding up just as good as my Diablo blades, for cheaper, with a better case and more variety and a greater quality. So for Jigsaw blades, Craftsman definitely has my win here. All right, let's talk knives now. Now, knives, there's plenty of guys out there that have their opinion on knives. A lot of the Milwaukee stuff is pretty cool, although I will say I've had some issues with Milwaukee hand tool warranty replacement in the past, so it's kind of fallen out for me using some of the Milwaukee hand tools because I just can't get them replaced when something breaks. Now, I will say my top 2 picks for knives are going to be Crescent. Crescent makes an awesome utility knife. This is absolutely my go-to utility knife now. I keep a few in the truck, a few at home, and they have been absolutely phenomenal. Crescent is just making a really good quality tool here, nice lifetime warranty, and I really love their blade quality. It is excellent. Everything about this tool is phenomenal. Now, when it comes to, more general use, just overall, a knife, not a razor blade, I love the Husky stuff. They are cheap, durable, their warranty is second to none, and they just get the job done. They have not let me down to date, never had an issue with their warranty, never had any issues, with them fighting me on it. They just give me a new one and say, all right, you're good to go, and that is it. So, huge fan of the Husky blades. They have been absolutely phenomenal. All right, while we're on that subject, let's talk razor blades now. So when it comes to, just budget blades, it doesn't really matter too much. I've used Cobalt, I've used DeWalt, I've used Milwaukee. To me, they all kind of seem the same. I just buy whatever is the cheapest. However, though, I have recently picked up probably the best ones that I've ever used to date. They seem like they're sharper, they hold the edge longer, and they've been absolutely phenomenal. Those are actually the Crescent blades. They kind of have this like black kind of look to them. They're kind of unique and kind of interesting. Let me see if I can get one right here. They kind of have that kind of this cool like black, kind of black anodized look to them, and they are super sharp. They're super durable, absolutely incredible knives. This is kind of my go-to for any more of my critical knives that, I can't really bring extras or spares with me. If I need to definitely have a knife that performs really, really well, this is my top pick, is going to be the Crescent knives and their blades. They are definitely second to none in my opinion, and have been my go-to for quite a while. All right, got a few of my final items remaining here, a couple of honorable mentions here. Now, I don't necessarily want to say these are my top picks per se, because I haven't felt like I've used enough of other brands to for sure say that I think these are the best tools out there. Now, we'll say for zip ties, Utilitech has seemed to be my go-to for quite a while. Available at Lowe's, and they seem to hold up really, really well. Never had an issue with these things breaking or, failing on me. They seem to work just great. Now, there's plenty of zip ties out there. I'm sure there's always, of course, better brands, cheaper brands, but Utilitech has not done me wrong just yet, and they have held up phenomenal. When it comes to hole saws, I pretty much have only used the Milwaukee hole saws. Never used with the Milwaukee hole saws. They hold up fantastic. I don't use these for metal ever. I use these pretty much solely for wood, so they have not had any issues with the teeth breaking or anything on me so far. They are just great, although they are quite expensive. It's the only downside to the Milwaukee hole saws. When it comes to any type of nails now, when it comes to like brad nails, pin nails, my go-to is Grex now. That is pretty much all that I've been using. They seem to work phenomenal in all my Metabo HPT nailers. I don't know what about them is so awesome that they seem to work so much better than all the other brands I've tried, but I've tried probably 4 or 5 brands now, these nails, and the Grex ones just seem to fire the best. Never have any jam with these things. They work awesome. And they're also relatively cheap too on Amazon, so I've been really, really happy with those so far. Another tool that I have here that I haven't really used as many other brands as I'd like, but I don't really use the tool very much, is going to be oscillating blades. I picked up a couple 4-pack of these DeWalts, and I probably use these maybe like once every 6 months. I don't really put a lot of use into my oscillating tools, and my DeWalt blades have held up absolutely amazing. Now, oscillating blades are crazy expensive. They're definitely not a tool you don't want to have to use if you don't have to, just because the blades are so crazy expensive and they love to break all those teeth off really, really quick. As you can see, my DeWalts have held up pretty good. I've only ever used these for cutting plastic and wood. I definitely don't recommend ever using an oscillating tool for cutting metal if you don't have to, because they just break all the time. And if you can definitely make sure you go slow, don't jam it in there, you want to make sure you keep these teeth as safe as possible. So just something to be aware of there when it comes to these. I like the DeWalt so far. I'm sure the Milwaukees are pretty good. I'd love to try out the Diablos as well too. I've not tried those. Well, all right, guys, hope that answers some questions there on, some of the best, consumable items to buy when it comes to bits, blades, tape measures, nails, screws, just tons of stuff. Of course, you can watch, hours and hours of reviews on YouTube, but I want to just do a quick video, kind of keep it short, simple, to the point of the best stuff that I've used from watching other reviews and, just trial and error, really. Testing out on the job site, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and, just using it. I'd like to see what holds the best and what's the best value for my money. So guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care, guys. Have a great evening and stay safe out there.